Hello and welcome to day one of the 5-day 2020 Angry Parent Challenge. We are going to talk about the biggest stumbling block that you almost certainly will hit when you are trying to make changes and what you can do about it. So there's a one word, and we've probably all heard it, and many of us have experienced it, and that is shame. Why is shame a stumbling block? Because shame is different than guilt. Guilt says, shouldn't have done that. That wasn't a great idea. I'd really like to do something different. That's productive. That allows us to make a game plan and move forward. Shame, on the other hand, says, I'm a terrible parent. I don't deserve these children. They'd be better off without me. And if you really believe that, if you believe that you are, in essence, a bad parent, where can you go from there? You can't improve. You can't do better because you believe that you at your core are bad. So I want you to be really honest with yourself when you experience shame. And I want you to put a voice to it. I want you to say, that's shame. And shame is not welcome here. It's okay to feel guilty. It's okay to do something kind of awful, feel bad about it. That motivates you to change. But actually identifying as a bad parent is not going to help you. In fact, it is going to make it nearly impossible because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you recognize that you're feeling shame, kick it out. Maybe modify it into guilt if you must, but kick it out. I know that some people were taught that you can shame somebody into change. You just can't. And it is very important that you are aware that that can happen and that you know you can handle it if it does. So the biggest reason that we fall into shame is because we mostly expect some version of perfection. We think that we are bad parents because somebody else does it better. Here's the thing, guys. Perfection is a mathematical concept. It's not a human one. No parents are perfect. No parents should be perfect. A perfect parent would create an exorbitant amount of pressure on a child who, in case you don't know this, is also imperfect. Your imperfection gives them permission to grow and change and make mistakes and learn from them. And that requires vulnerability. There's an entire chapter on vulnerability in my book. It is a very essential ingredient to a healthy home. Every member needs to feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to say, I made a mistake. I want to make it up to you. A lot of people think that a good parent-child relationship comes from getting it right, having positive interactions. And yeah, those are really important. But the really essential piece is repair. You can't have a repair without a rupture. It is the act of making the mistake, losing your cool, being too harsh, getting something wrong, making a bad assumption, whatever, missing a need, and then recognizing that, owning it, and moving to make it better. Telling that child with your actions, you matter. You are more important than my ego. This relationship matters so much to me that I'm going to put myself in the vulnerable position to apologize and make it better. I'm going to grow and change. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to do something different because this relationship matters that much. That's what you're teaching your kids when you mess up and you make it better. It's vital. It's an essential life skill that we are modeling for our children. So we don't need to feel shame when we mess up. We need to acknowledge it. We need to be able to recognize that's not exactly how I wanted this to go. We need to make a plan to do it differently and execute that plan, follow through. But the shame piece does not need to be there. We need to embrace the gift within the imperfection. Brene Brown, anyone? I want you to also know that you only have to get it right 33% of the time, 1/3, and you can still have a secure attachment with your kid. So this entire challenge is enveloped in the belief that we are not meant to be perfect. We are not striving for perfection. We are finding our own personal excellence. We are growing where we want to grow as individual parents who love their children, who are doing the best they can, who believe their children are doing the best they can, and who just want to experience a little bit more calm, joy, less yelling, the feeling of going to bed thinking, today was a decent day, instead of going to bed thinking, oh my gosh, have I scarred them for life? That's what we're getting rid of. Those fears, that overwhelm, that feeling of I can't get this right. And we're embracing, I am doing the best I can. I see the goodness. I see the positive interactions from today. And you know what? When I did mess up, I apologized and I made it better. And that's what matters. So, your homework, if you will, notice your shame, put words to it, and then kick it out. Apologize if you make a mistake. Be vulnerable enough to acknowledge what area do you mostly struggle with? What do you want to see growth in? Where do you want to see change in your personal relationship between you and your children? That's your homework. Easy peasy. All right, guys, I'll see you on day 2. Bye.